Blast flex drip lick, 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 blast flex drip lick.
Hello everybody, Sanborani, Dumelang, Tobela, Molweni, Yadag, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Vianney Mashego. I am the content creator of this channel and I am an avid lover of anything related to human movement. I'm particularly heavily into weightlifting,
I do what you can't, my money you tank. I might lose a bank.
psychology, the arts, music, and anything that has to do with being creative. I'll be starting a weightlifting specific segment. I am not 100% certain on the name yet. It's a bit of a toss-up between Weightlifting Mzansi, Afrique du Sud, Weightlifting, and Lifting South Africa. If you're keen on helping with the selection process, go ahead and hit the comment section below which you think is the best name. The purpose behind this channel is to spotlight African and Southern African weightlifting specifically through personal interviews that I will have had with specific coaches and athletes, the opportunity to highlight local talents through exhibiting the competitions and some of their training methods, and an overall ability to bring the elements of storytelling into facilitating a nice, exciting way to make weightlifting easily accessible to the African and Southern African community. In this pilot episode, I'd like to start it off with somebody who's risen to the top of the ranks very quickly. Some might perceive him to be an unknown entity. I have personally combated and battled with him in a weightlifting competition back in 2018, and I want to start off by showing an interview that I had with him winning the most recent weightlifting competition held at Performance Purist, and then I'll give some interesting backstory into who this young man is and where he comes from. Ladies and gentlemen, he goes by the name of Andre Smith, who is the current best 81 kilogram weightlifter in South Africa. Andre, well done on your 118 and 145. Yeah. Can you give us a quick recap on what went down over there, what you were thinking on the last two lifts, and what emotions you went through?
Yeah, so obviously the day started really well, snatched really well.
It was amazing.
And then I wanted to capitalize on that, so things don't always go according to plan. So first 145 I missed, which is a relatively lightweight.
Yeah.
But then obviously after that you have to do damage control. So I went 145 again, got it, and then we basically went for
the national record, unofficially.
for 155, and I was a little under the pump there, couldn't get it today, but next time I'll get it. So,
but now, was that your own record that you were trying to smash?
Yeah, it was. It was. But I mean, that's why you come to a competition. I think if you come to a competition, you always want to go as heavy as possible.
Yeah.
Because that's why the competition environment just creates that.
Yeah.
A session for going for your best.
For sure.
So that's what I tried to do today, and it didn't work out. Next time it might work out differently, and then we have a new record. So
that's how weightlifting goes, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to take this moment to thank the co-owners of Performance Purist, Darren Anthony and Joshua Caparizzo, for hosting the weightlifting competition at the end of the year. What a spectacle it was. A quick peek into the back room over here, and we see a very friendly face over there. His name is Steve. He is now the new coach of Andre Smith, and I'm very keen to see what this relationship between the two of them is going to come to. Look at that, the bro himself, super dad Andre Smith, getting his snatch pulls going on, starting his warm-up, leading into what will be a wonderful snatch day. A professional setup, and fans eagerly anticipating to see what the athletes are about to bring. Though I'd like to bring it back to the warm-up area real quick and comment on Andre Smith's demeanor leading up onto the platform. It's an interesting one for me, as Andre seems to not necessarily easily be frazzled by anything, and he's a very happy-go-lucky lifter around the back. You'll find that oftentimes he's keen to chat, loves to make a joke or two, to the point where Frank would tell him, hold on a second, champ, let's focus and let's get ready to make a lift, which I find incredibly interesting, as in the back you find the energies can be quite intense. And I say this because in a weightlifting meeting, there's generally so much pressure put on oneself to make sure that one has a successful day, meaning 6 out of 6 in terms of the lift, or one tries to get a PR. And what I've noticed with Andre Smith is, you know, although he may want to do that, his demeanor doesn't necessarily suggest that he is particularly nervous or under a lot of pressure. He seems to have a little bit more time and a little bit more coolness than your average lifter, which I find extremely intriguing, and I love that about him. This 140 that Andre just hit before going onto the platform marked him back a little bit before he made the jerk. He went onto the platform and missed the first 145 to go on to make the second attempt at 145. He then goes for 155. This is where I started to see a little bit of fatigue settling in on the legs. Now it's important to note that he just came back from SAs where he broke the national record on the clean and jerk. Story time! The story behind Andre Smith is that him, I, and Matthew LaRue competed in 2018 in what then would have been the 85 or just under 85 weightlifting category before we did the whole weight change, which shuffled down to 81 kilograms and 89. I naturally went up to 89 kilograms and Andre went down to 81 kilograms. Now, to compare some of his lifts and totals from 2018 in comparison to the most recent set of competitions, particularly South African national weightlifting competitions held just 5 weeks ago and the competition at Performance Purist not too long ago. Andre's snatch in 2018 was at about, I'm going to call it roughly 110 to 115 tops, right? This is him weighing just under 85. His clean and jerk was humongous. He had, if I'm not mistaken, he cleaned 160 but just missed the jerk, and he went ahead and came second where I placed third and Matthew came first. In the most recent essays, Andre came down to an 81 kilograms, but what you'll notice is his snatch has actually improved considerably than what it used to be before, and his clean and jerk has actually kept up pretty well in comparison to when he was slightly heavier. So I believe in the nationals in South African nationals just a couple of weeks ago, Andre broke the national record for the 81 kilogram division, which was 152 kilograms. He went and clean and jerk 155, 154, 155. I must fact check, double check that. He then continued training through up until we competed most recently at Performance Purist. And if you ask me personally, I think he did spectacular by putting up the totals that he did, which was a 118 snatch. He made all three lifts on the snatch, which was 110, 114, and 118. And then his clean and jerk, he missed his first 145, made his second 145, jumped up to a whopping 154 kilograms, and just missed, not just, but it just missed the clean. Personal opinion as an athlete and a coach, I think that he'd had a pretty big season and he's done amazingly well, but he'd been training at an extremely high level for a while and his legs were just a little bit tired coming towards the most recent competition. And it's bloody impressive considering that he just came off the back of breaking the national records. So a big kudos to him, Andre Smith, and I think he deserves a well-rested break before going into his off-season and prepping for the 2023 calendar year. If you like the content that I've just provided for you, please go ahead and do me a favor and subscribe to the channel, make some comments, tell me about the storytelling, how you find the factual information. This will be extremely helpful towards making this channel grow, and let me know who you'd love for me to highlight.